What's up, boys? It's a nostalgic gaming channel back at it again with RTS Sunday and a new episode of Age of Mythology. We're doing mission number 15. Let's go.
Let's go.
And this mission is no joke for sure. It's a tough one. I know because the first time I played it through, I actually lost and I had to reset and scrap the footage because I did so
We must
poorly.
recover the piece of Osiris before we leave.
We have to hurry. Gargarensis and Kemsit will soon have their troops out.
We still have some allies here. Not all have turned to worship Set.
Yes, I have friends here. They will help us.
I have arranged for transports to meet us here at the prison. We must hold this position until they arrive.
So if you remember in the last mission we had Amon-Ra and that giant myth army where we went around and were able to get all the armies or all the statues and whatnot by using Amon-Ra to convert them over to our side. And then we absolutely crushed Kemset and Gargarensis with our massive overwhelming army and overtook the prison. So in this one we're going to go through, make sure that there's nothing over there in that little shipwreck, because you know every once in a while they like to put cool items in the shipwreck, and they give us a war turtle and they expect us to fight all this army, but why do we fight them if we could just run away? You get real no benefit for fighting those guys, and you just delay yourself, so why even fight them? Move right on out straight into our base. So one of the little sidebars on this mission is there's pirate ships that will periodically spawn and sail over to your base and will attack you. And there's a trigger that you can use to defeat them, and that's actually a very satisfying, very clever way of beating the pirates that I thoroughly enjoy. But I'll explain that more as it's coming up. We're going to make our way through this treacherous water with our war turtle. It was an extremely powerful myth unit, right? I think I would take the Kraken over the war turtle, but the war turtle is a pretty chonky boy. And when he gets mad, he just starts gamer raging and flipping out. And he flips ships as he's raging out. And it's pretty funny to watch. Like, all the ships just kind of get turned upside down. But we reach dry land here. And you have to be careful with your transport ships, because if they die, all your units die. I've learned that the hard way before.
We have meager resources, but we know this city well. We will help you recover the Osiris piece from
Ring tayo via
So for this one, I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to go for hunting dogs and the upgrade that makes your animals fatten up faster, because they gave me so many goats, right? So I might as well try it. Get myself on a couple gold villagers. Get myself a couple fishing ships, because there's plentiful fish in the sea here. You know what they say? There's always other fish in the sea. But sometimes they don't mention those fish are piranhas or alligators or sharks. Just keep that in mind when someone tells you that phrase. There's other fish in the sea. Yeah. There's also leviathans and krakens, right? And Loch Ness, probably. Just kidding. But no, I always thought that's a kind of little funny phrase. Because what about if the other fish in the sea aren't the same fish as you, you know? But if you look north, I think it's north of us, yeah, northeast of us here. And for some reason on this map, I noticed while we were recording and playing, they basically give you the entire map. They show you everything that's on there, even though most of it is like that dark color that technically you're not really supposed to be able to see active movement. You could see the entire map, all the enemy structures, all of where the relics are. They make no qualms about giving you info on this one. Was he going after my goat? And apparently ramming galleys are not very good against melee troops. My ramming galley was getting wrecked there for a second. So we're going to get all our guys back into it. No more hanging around. Like that Beetlejuice meme that's super popular where he goes, "What are you doing?" "Nothing. I'm just hanging around." I actually found a better GIF I liked. It was a little corgi hanging in there, so I threw that in there for you guys. Just a little treat. Little nostalgic gaming channel treat. So if you look north of us, you see that there's a, like, not a Chemset affiliated, like, run base, but it's a pirate run base affiliated with Chemset. And if you take that out, that gives you a lot of early access to resources, to gold, to farms, and it gives you direct, it expands your island so you can build more, because this is a pretty small island where we're at. And it gives you...
If we were to destroy the lighthouse, the pirates would not be able to sail into the bay.
Chemset moves this Osiris piece around the city to keep it safe. It will move again soon.
It gives you a pretty free civilization, or a citadel, pretty quick that you could build another one, right? So the main goal in this, for me, was defend my shores from the pirate attacks, because the pirate attacks are devastating, and you're able to kill the ships before they land. In fact, if you look on the map, you're able to actually see when the ships are coming down because of the lighthouse. But so the main mission is defend the harbor. That's why I spread out my ships like that, so I could try and block anyone from landing. After you defend the harbor successfully, you move north and you take out the enemy base. Once you take out the enemy base, you establish yourself, build a massive army, and then full frontal assault, or full land assault, naval assault onto Chemset's main bases. And because they're so wide and so spread out, none of the main bases are that very well defended, right? And that was a great battle for us. We took out those 2 ships without any casualties, but none of the main bases are super well defended. So once you get in there, you're not going to have a hard time clearing things out, especially with a pretty decently sized army. In fact, I would say it's even harder just dealing with the pirates than it is fighting Chemset on his main base. So one thing that I'm trying to work on is getting out troops and infrastructure faster, because I'm a really resource-minded player. Oh shoot, see, we didn't stop the ship. So we were able to almost stop it, and this is before I noticed that you could see in the water when they're coming. But luckily my whole army was here. If I had already been attacking, I would have definitely lost a lot of buildings and a lot of troops. But in my mindset, I set a timer. As soon as the next pirate attack comes, I'm going to send my army and attack. Like, mentally, I was like, I'm going to attack as soon as the next pirate ship comes. And this is an added treat. The fact that they sent the majority of their units over now gives me a perfect opportunity to go straight in. I've got 1 giant beetle. I've got a couple Avengers. It's time to go. And in this mission, you also can see the strength of mercenaries. I don't actually build them because I think they're kind of a waste of a unit. But if the pirates land unexpectedly while your troops aren't there, mercenaries can very strongly and very effectively and cheaply deal with the enemies. So that's something that I kept in mind. The first time I failed, I ended up buying a lot of mercenaries because I kept getting attacked when my troops were gone. So I had to defend my base without really any troops there, because they were all attacking the pirates up north. So you know what's funny is I actually saw something interesting on the internet the other day, and granted, don't believe everything you see on the internet, but I heard and I read that the United States is giving away lighthouses for free. So you heard it here first. If you want a lighthouse, you can thank the NGC as you put in your application. No, but seriously, the article says something to the extent of, because GPS is so prominent and prevalent now, that nobody needs a lighthouse, and that there's so many means of communication that they just made them generally unnecessary. But like, think about it. If you're in the sea and your phone stops working and it's dark, like, I could see the lighthouse still being, you know, something that could help you and save your life, but I digress. I'm not a lighthouse enthusiast. I think it'd be kind of cool to live in one, but then how am I supposed to play games and make YouTube videos for you guys, you know? No. But so we're going to go crush that enemy lighthouse, and you're going to see what happens when there's not a properly maintained lighthouse for people trying to sail at sea. And you know what's great is I usually like to get some interesting facts and points, just in case I want to tell you guys some in the YouTube video. So I typed in ChatGPT today. I said, hey, can you give me 10 fun facts for the day? And the very first one says, honey never spoils. Archaeologists have found pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that are over 3,000 years old and are still perfectly edible. Oh, so this is what I was talking about when you could see the pirate ships on the map. So I was able to intercept this one. And you see how it gets flipped by the war turtle? Unfortunately, the war turtle just kind of spazzes out and sits in a circle after that. But it's okay, because he did his job and he disrupted that thing, and we sent our main army in. But isn't it funny how on the ChatGPT search, it probably knows that I'm playing, you know, that I have something to do with Egypt because that's the first fact. And like out of the thousands or millions of fun facts it could have given me, it gives me that one first. I think that's pretty funny. I don't know if I would eat 3,000-year-old honey. If you would eat 3,000-year-old honey, drop a comment down below saying whether you would or not. But I don't think I would do that. Even if they assured me it would taste delicious. Well, maybe for the meme. Alright, now we get straight into that battle, hearing that funky battle music that we so love. We're going to make sure our siege units are sieging and our fighting units are attacking the enemies. We want the scarabs on the citadel. We want the battering ram on the citadel. But since they sent most of their units at us already, really all they have left is villagers. So this ends up kind of being a massacre. I mean, they've got a couple corrupted animals. They had a priest and a couple like melee units, but they really don't put up much of a fight here. But I really love how this game gives you, like, they give you so many options on how to play. Like, you could, in all honesty, totally ignore this. Totally really ignore the pirates other than defend them. And then run straight into the enemy base, right? And capture the Osiris piece cart immediately and just run to the end. But that kind of takes all the fun out of, you know, the actual RTS portion of this game. But I guess if you're speedrunning it, that'd probably be a viable strategy. And watch that Avenger just wreck those guys. I love watching them spin. Call them Beyblade. Let it rip. It's too bad that show, I don't know if it even goes on anymore, but obviously it wasn't as popular as Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon or, you know, the better shows. Or Digimon. Even, yeah. Probably ranked in order. Yu-Gi-Oh! Digimon, Pokemon. Changed my mind. Digimon, I think, had cooler monsters, cool world building. But Pokemon, they were pretty awesome. Everyone wanted a freaking Pokemon. But Yu-Gi-Oh's goated with the sauce. Imagine summoning Exodia on your enemy and just watch him disappear. Like in that scene where Kaiba first sees him, and then he just loses his mind. Yeah, that was a good show. Fortunately, every time I played with my brothers, they would just cheat and put their really good cards on top and pretend to shuffle them. So they'd have a handful of Blue Eyes White Dragons and Dark Magicians, and that was before we knew about tribute summoning, so they would just play all their good cards really quick. But there's only one thing that beats those guys.
I summon Pot of Greed to draw 3 additional cards from my deck.
That's not what it does.
Roll my dice. That is what it does. Pot of Greed. Draw 3. I summon Pot of Greed to draw 3 additional cards from my deck. And I summon Pot of Greed to draw 3 additional cards from my deck. Then I play Magic Force, which allows me to play Pot of Greed once again to draw 3 additional cards from my deck.
So, as my main army's out, sorry, that little Yu-Gi-Oh clip, I love that. And watch the full thing. I summon Pot of Greed. I wasn't going to put the whole thing in because it's super long, but that's exactly how duels used to go between my brothers and I. But, so I got attacked by the pirates because I wasn't paying attention. I haven't smashed the lighthouse yet, right? I was too busy focusing on expanding and whatnot and getting all the relics. But realistically, with the troops that I have, it's not too much of an issue to defend against them. We even got the opportunity to build a couple mercenaries, in case you saw, the horse rider and the foot soldier. And they're very effective for the quick rate that they build. They're effective for what they do. Unfortunately, though, they die after they're a timed unit, so they die very quick. But if you're not careful, I left one building alive and a couple buildings alive here because otherwise your town center will just start attacking everything, including the farms. And if you don't have your town center attack the farms, you could just use them. So I don't even know why I built farms over here. I should just send all my guys over there to the farms. But granted, they're built a little... I like to build them straight onto the resource collection building because you go a little bit faster. And if you don't, like, then your guys have to walk over and drop it off, which it saves. It's like a minuscule amount of time loss, but time loss is time loss. So now, because we crushed the lighthouse, every time a pirate ship gets spawned from the top left, they're gonna crash right into the rocks, and it's very satisfying to watch them just shipwreck and go ashore, and then just, you know, now they can't attack you anymore. And it relieves a lot of the pressure that you have, you know, to build defenses real quick, and you can really slow down and focus on expanding. I tried to find if those shipwrecks had any, you know, salvageable resources or gold or anything, and unfortunately they did not. But it's okay. We're pretty wealthy in this mission. In fact, I'm floating a lot of resources, which I shouldn't be. That's one of my biggest problems when I play. I love these Enubites too. They're such a cool unit. And now they got the dog head and they bark at you rather than take commands. So I always build my... I'm sure each of you guys do this too, and everyone that's decent at Age of Mythology, unless I'm wrong, but I always build it as far as possible, my market, because I want those donkeys or camels or whatever the other ox carts. I want them to move. I want them to work.
In which EU refer who Iatawit.
And now we're building up our army buildings. That way we can get ready for the final frontal assault onto the enemy and demolish them. But like I said earlier, the actual enemies in this mission, like the main bases, don't put up much of resistance. But I didn't know that. I assumed that it was going to be like Titan level defenses, and there would be multiple, you know, people waiting around to jump on me, and I was actually kind of disappointed with the end. The pirates was a much better like twist to this than the actual battle sequence. I was a big fan of the pirates and the AI. In fact, the first time I had to restart, it's because the pirates crushed me. They came through, killed all my static defenses, and landed and started killing all my villagers before I could get my army back. So, pirates goated, Chemset, kind of cringe. So I built the temple here so I could stash all my relics. There's plenty of relics on this map here. Like, if you go through, you can find multiple relics, just like in a couple missions we've had so far. A couple recent ones, they've been very generous with the relics. And we see the Osiris pieces there, and it's gonna get moved in a short amount of time. And they don't just walk you, right? Because otherwise you'd ambush them. You're gonna see what happens here when they move it.
Not so fast, Arkantos.
They just use shifting sands, which is a pretty cool, you know, that's a pretty cool little thing. Because otherwise, you could just wait until it's in transport, jump over and grab it. And you know who we're gonna pick, boys. We're picking Osiris. I want that son of Osiris. That may well be my favorite god power of all. Just because, like, the son of Osiris, he's such a strong unit that he could take down like an entire army by himself. He can heal, he can bless, and he attack, he defend. He's a big boy. And you guys are going to get to see him in action. And we got our little monkeys, our little relic monkeys. Those guys are more kind of useless, but it's nice to have them in the army just as fodder, you know? Take up some enemy's attention or deal a little bit of DPS in the meantime. Just like the Golden Lions. The Golden Lions don't really do much. In fact, a villager might even be able to take them out. You see all the wrecked ships now. But, I mean, it's nice to just have them in there, because anything that kind of disrupts the enemy or distracts them or takes up their time while they're getting shot with an arrow in the face, that's helpful for sure. So the first portion of this assault is going to be a naval assault, right? We're going to take our very large sea army, and we're going to soften up the exterior defenses of Kemset's group. Make sure that they don't have the opportunity to snipe our ships on the way up. It's like D-Day, you know. It's Normandy all over for Arkantos and the boys. Arkantos and the boys gearing up to land on D-Day. But unlike D-Day, at least they're going to be able to make it to the shore without relative hassle fire when our naval ships go and attack and clear out the way. So, at this point, we're pretty wealthy. This might be the one mission where a lighthouse makes sense, but I don't think I've ever built a lighthouse in my entire career as an Age of Mythology player. I might be wrong on that. That might be like the best thing you could buy. Like that could be a strong building, but I've never done it. I don't really see the point. Yeah, it gives you some line of sight, right? But I don't really think in either PvP or in campaign that it would be super effective. And as you can see, our siege ships are crushing it as our war turtle tanks, right? So I kind of want to give, because the pirates gave me so much problems last time, right? I kind of want to give the pirates a little taste of their own medicine and tell them like, hey, that wasn't cool, bros. So we're going to go and we're going to show them what's up. And in this mission particularly, I learned how valuable ships are and like how dangerous they are. And you're going to see exactly why here in a minute, why I say that, because basically my ships did the majority of the damage to this base and could have killed it all by themselves. And I love mummies. Mummies are good units, so we're going to build some. They're definitely not the strongest late game unit. Like the good standard is, can it beat a Colossus though? Because Colossuses are, in my opinion, the strongest myth unit, right? I would say that like Frost Giants are pretty close, but a mummy's nowhere near a Colossus strength, right? So when you compare it like that, you kind of realize like, hey, mummies are pretty strong and they're really good support unit, but they're not like goated with the sauce. Especially when you think about some of the other final myth units like Medusas and stuff out there. So my siege ships are just tearing it up over there. And we make our Son of Osiris. But we kept them at home just in case we get attacked. And my siege ships killed their whole citadel. Like, I was going to bring my whole army to come in and crush it, and I thought that these would just, like, kind of lighten the load. But they killed everything. We're still going to come in for the win, for the dubs. We're keeping that. Uh-oh. Thank goodness my main army wasn't over there. I don't even know what would happen if your main heroes died on sea like that. I don't know if like they would be on land or if they would just glitch and get stuck and not trigger. Like, I'm genuinely curious what would happen, but I don't want to do it and mess up the mission. Luckily, all we lost was a warship and a fishing ship. But you know what they say, a captain must go down with his ship. So I'm sure my brave men valiantly stood there and fished into the last moment so we can get that piece of Osiris back. Their sacrifice will be remembered. Never forget. Fishing ship number 3. Warship number 7. So we go back to the pirates, and basically everything they have is crushed. All your base belong to us. And we're going to make sure that nobody ever remembers that they were even here. Basically everything they've ever done has just been wiped out. And the nice thing about picking Osiris too is you get 2 pharaohs. And see, I kind of figured out that was a funky trigger, because even though I crushed everything they have, kind of in a similar mission with, where like when, the last one with the cart, where even if you kill their entire base, it still ends up triggering and spawning enemies. This game still has that same trigger, where even though I killed everything the pirates had, they still spawn their ships just for them to die on the rocks. So rather than wait for my guys to run out of gold and then not pay attention and see that they're not doing anything, I'm just going to send them over. And unbeknownst to me, there was 2 large gold mines right there. But it's okay. We overtook that base, and we're going to make sure that we make it prosperous. I don't know if I even end up using my gold god power in this one. I don't really need it. And you're going to see how here in a minute, like I just kind of go over and crush the enemy base. In fact, I have so many units I can't even build anymore. You do cap out pretty quick in Age of Mythology with your units. Like, that's the one thing is, like, I built all my houses and I have 2 command posts. And granted, I could be able to get to 3 if, you know, I took over that pirate base. But that still doesn't give you that much more, and you cap out pretty fast. So we're going to use our ships to lead the way, our siege ships. That way we can make a hole for our land troops. Not that they're really needed, I already killed the towers. But this could be nice to get in there. And are they going to reach? Oh yeah. Look at those bad boys. They're going to kill that thing, no problem. And they struggle against units, obviously, because they're siege weapons. But they still kill that guy pretty fast. Granted, I have, what, 7 of them? But they still crush him pretty fast. And here comes our boys. Okay, there we go. I'll use my god power. I would have been kind of disappointed in myself if I didn't. So watch very carefully for when you hear and see the lightning power of the Son of Osiris. That thing is freaking awesome. Like, that's the embodiment of like a very powerful pharaoh. Like, I think it's so cool to see. And we're gonna send our royal warships into the base. Oh, watch him just chain lightning everybody. If this was Warcraft, he'd be Thrall, right? And like I said, it's kind of disappointing how many units there were in here. Like, I didn't even send a massive army either. Like, I sent a... Granted, it's a maxed out army in addition to villagers and warships and everything. I even sent my warships on what I thought was a death mission to kind of free up some troops, because I didn't think there was going to be any more sea battles. But this wasn't very well defended. And I know, like, the gimmick is it probably gets harder the longer you wait. Like, the further the piece gets inside, the harder it probably gets. But even when I sent my troops further in later to explore and to get my Son of Osiris some more battle time, there still wasn't that much more going on inside. And there's a Greek scout to then again show you, like, hey, this is a Greek problem that became an Egyptian problem. Like, I really like the references there, how they kind of mix and they foreshadow and hint a little bit at a couple things. It would have been cool if one of the side missions, like if they gave you optional bonus missions, and the optional bonus mission was like, go destroy that giant pyramid. Like, I would have been down for that. That would have been pretty freaking sweet. And then you get like achievements for it or whatever, or I don't even know what they could give you. They can't really, it's not like StarCraft 2 campaign where you get like lasting bonuses that last mission to mission. See, there's not even a single troop guarding. And even that guy that came out, he just ran away. Kind of cowardly, if you ask me, boys. Let's get our siege troops to do siegey things, right? So I don't know why I sent Arkantos back with a relic. There's so many relics in this mission. that I would have been better off sending a villager over there if I really wanted it. Sending a villager to build a temple. But I want these group to defend the piece. Yeah, see, I lost the piece. But I figure one catapult, a Monra, and 2 Avengers and a Nubite, that'd be enough to destroy those couple towers in a catapult without much problem. Yeah, see, I clear out the defending troops here. We get another Beyblade activation.
Into you.
And we're coming up here on the end. I have all these troops with nothing really to do.
Into you. Into you.
And obviously we don't want our Son of Osiris to die, because you don't get him back if he dies. Once he's gone, he's gone. So we pull him back from the front lines and we let our siege minions do siegey things. That's the one thing about the Egyptians that I love, is they have so much healing. Like, their troops aren't super strong, but man, you have a lot of healing capabilities and potential.
Into you.
Whereas like the Norse, if you want healing, you have to pick the healing fountain. With the Greeks, you got to pick Apollo. For the Egyptians, you really just have to build priests.
Into you.
Or your pharaoh, or like the Egyptians have a lot of benefits that make up for kind of their general weakness. Oh, I picked up the relic that doesn't do anything. That's what it was. That's a relic with no text. I think whoever programmed it forgot to, you know, put in what it does, so I don't really know what it does. But we're coming up here at the end. I end up, you know, going like, hey, I don't want to kill everything else. There's not really much else left, right? So I'm going to end up just moving out with the relic. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for checking out the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys for what you do. You guys make this possible and make it fun for me to make these videos. If you guys enjoy them, please continue to watch. Don't forget to check out Fable Friday. That's a little bit more experimental with the edits. I mean, I'm mixing them a little bit in here, as you can see with the GIFs and the sound clips, but those ones go full bore with all the edits. So check that out. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next one. But I'll give you one more fun fact before I leave. Let's see. A single cloud can weigh more than 1 million pounds. Despite their appearance, clouds are formed of tiny water droplets and can add up to significant mass. One more. Bananas are berries while strawberries are not. Keep that in mind. I'll see you guys.